Hi everyone, this is Ms. Cagle, and this is the Unit 4 Technical Report video. For this week, you will be writing what is known as a technical report, which is a paper, research paper, that you write about a tool or piece of equipment that you would like to use one day in the future, whether it's at your current real job or your fictitious job that you've been using up to this point to do these fictitious job assignments. For the purposes of our practice today and to show you how to do a couple of the procedures, we are going to look up KitchenAid stand mixers. So you can do your technical report on yarn and crochet needles. You can do it on an impact wrench. You can do it on an air compressor, on a painting booth, which is the example that I have. You can do it on anything you want, as long as it's a piece of equipment and you look up information about it. So this is going to have several components. You will have several reading chapters that you will need to do. I'm going to scroll down and show you. All the top URLs are reading components that you need to do. You will need to watch this video and do the secret word. You will have to do an ethics in writing and plagiarism quick write, which we're going to be covering ethics in writing and plagiarism today. And then you will need to do an outline and works cited page by your middle of the week assignment, as well as watch another video. I don't typically have 2 videos in 1 week, but I'm going to show you in the middle of the week, once you're ready to start typing your paper, is a good time to start looking at that video. It's going to show you how to use Microsoft Word to create things like table of contents and tables of figures, and how to format the paper and what it's supposed to look like. And then lastly, you'll turn in your technical report tool assignment at the end of the week on Sunday. So, alrighty. So make sure that you're staying on top of this. This is an assignment that will take some time to complete. So do make sure that you stay on top of the work and that you are getting it done on time and not waiting till later, because the longer you wait, the more frustrated you'll be, because it is a project that takes time to complete. All right, let's get to the lesson. All right, so in this lesson, we're going to focus on ethics and technical writing and citations. I'm going to go through the ethics piece pretty quickly, just because it is in the reading, and I'm kind of just hitting some of the main points. So the first thing, I'm going to hide that we need to make sure that we're looking at is, what is ethics in technical writing? So looking at these questions while we're writing. What kind of support materials are ethical to use? Can I use open web sources instead of academic sources? Answer is no. Can email communication be used without permission? Answer for that is also no. And then, how much can I adapt to the audience without sacrificing the ethics? So disclaimer, ethics is complicated because life is complicated. All of our moral situations are different. The way that we're raised is different. And so the way ethics can be different depending on the person. But there are certain things we can do to make sure we're trying to be as ethical as possible. So first of all, you should have ethic principles in line with yourself. So remember that ethical communication does not involve just telling the truth and providing accurate information, but telling the truth and providing information that a reasonable audience knows the truth. Because sometimes you can tell the truth in a really complicated way that actually skews people, and it's not very ethical to do that. So make sure that you're not only telling the truth, but making that truth accessible to everyone. You always must act to prevent harm, and always ask yourself, what would happen if what I'm doing goes public? If I'm going to get in trouble for it, it's probably not ethical. So presentation of information. Remember that how a writer presents their information affects the reader's understanding of the material. So the way you write it has to be intentional for the reader to be able to understand it, not just read it, but comprehend it. And you're not supposed to hide crucial information or put minor details as prominent information. So don't make a mountain out of a molehill, but don't flatten that molehill either. So here's some typical ethic issues in technical writing that people run into. They have research that does not support the project. They may suppress relevant information. They may present information. They must make sure that they present visual information ethically by providing resources that are, excuse me, my brain stopped working, by providing credit to the source. You may use limited source information in your research. So you're not using enough research, or that research is biased, or that what you're writing is biased. All of that can cause ethical issues. So how do you go about fixing that? You have to have ethical documentation. By documenting your sources using in-text citations and a works cited page, you are able to make sure that what you are doing is ethical and giving credit to the pertinent information to the source that you're getting it from. So you also need to establish credibility within your writing by using professional language, by citing respected sources, by providing reliable evidence, and by using sound logic. So what are credible sources? Credible sources are sources that are scholarly. They're peer-reviewed. They have arguments that are based on solid reasoning and evidence. The author has solid credentials, and it is non-biased. So we're not using Jimmy Joe's mama's grandma's vlog about knitting needles for this project. We are using reliable, credible sources. So I am going to use to talk about part of my, like, what is the stand mixer. I would use the user's manual from KitchenAid, and I would use the information that KitchenAid provides about their stand mixer. For reviews, I would go to KitchenAid's website and look for reviews. I would go to if I'm using a blog, I'm using one that is highly sourced for information. So another thing we got to make sure is to avoid plagiarism. Remember that plagiarism is defined as using someone's intellectual property as your own, whether it's visual or written or verbal. So you're going to have graphics and research in this paper, and you have to provide credit to that by using works cited pages and in order to provide that credit. Make sure if you paraphrase information, you're providing credit. You are giving credit where credit is due. You didn't write the book. You didn't write the manual. You didn't take the picture, so none of that is yours. Even if you put stuff in your own words, the idea is not yours. So you still have to provide that credit. Citations. So those are the method through which we keep from plagiarizing people's work. We have two types of citations. We have in-text citations and you have works cited pages. And I'm going to go, and you have to have both of those in this paper. So in-text citations are paragraphs, or excuse me, can't talk today, good Lord, parentheses that are put directly after quoted material or at the end of using paraphrased or summarized material, usually at the end of each paragraph, that shows which source in the works cited page you have gathered this information from. So this is how they look. So after quoted material or at the end of each paragraph, you are going to put a parentheses that looks like this. So if I'm quoting the book Night by Elie Wiesel, which is a book that I teach in 10th grade, I would put the author's last name and the page number of the document that I found that material. If I don't have an author, I can simply put the title of that work. So Mary Had a Little Lamb being the song, and then this is like the stanza number. Or like for my KitchenAid owner's manual, it may just be owner's manual and then the page number of the PDF that I found the information on. Works cited pages is a reference page on the last page of your paper. So if you have 6 typed pages, your works cited page would go on page 7. It is a list in alphabetical order of all of the sources you use in your paper. And it usually looks like this. So it's in alphabetical order. I'm going to show you exactly how to do this. It has works cited at the top. It has the author's last name, page number, and the information provided about the source. I'm going to show you exactly how to do this in this video, so don't fret. Your secret word for this video is stand mixer. The secret word is stand mixer. So if you have to go onto a second line of your works cited page, you'll have what's called a hanging indent. I'll show you how to do that as well. And your works cited page is double spaced. So you are writing a paper about a tool that you are interested in. So I'm going to go over the requirements of that tool with you. So on your paper, you will have the following things. You have a cover letter that is outside of the organization or a cover memo that is inside of the organization for your tool. So if you want your boss to use this air compressor, you would do a memo. If you are interested in doing a tool presentation for another company, you would do a letter. I recommend that everybody does a memo because you're writing this for your boss. So do the memo. That's what I would do if it were me. That memo needs to cover the what, the why, and the what you can get from it. And I'm going to show you that in a little bit. Your paper needs to have on the second page a cover page or title page. You'll have a table of contents, an abstract that covers all the main gist of what's in the paper itself, a list of figures and tables, your introduction that will cover the purpose, background, and scope of your report. The body of the report, you need to have at least 4 subsections. And those are going to cover things like the characteristics of the tool. You could talk about the feasibility, talk about pros and cons, talk about areas of improvement. All of that will be on the outline. I'll show you in a minute. You conclude your paper with recommendations. You may recommend after doing this not to recommend the tool because it's not feasible for your company's bottom line. And that's okay. Sometimes when we do research on a tool, we may not like what we see. That's the point of the tool report. So if you go to your boss and say, I think we need to use this air compressor, and your boss is like, cool, do a tool report on the air compressor. And if it turns out, we'll work into it. So as you're doing the research, you see that there's a lot of negative reviews. Despite the fact that your friend said the air compressor is awesome, there's a lot of negative reviews. It's not going to be very feasible. It costs a lot of money. You're not going to get as many years out of it. You may have in your conclusions and recommendations that despite the good reviews from people that I've spoken to, I do not recommend this product because of these reasons. You will need a works cited page, and within it, you need 3 to 5 graphics or illustrations. Your paper is going to be in Times New Roman 12-point font with page numbers at the top on the right side. You need to single space within the paragraphs and double space in between. All right, so one of the things that you're going to need to do is an outline. And this will be due at the middle of the week. So after you finish this video, you're going to do your secret word. Remember, that secret word is stand mixer. After you do your secret word, you are going to start researching. Don't wait till Thursday to do this. Start researching now. Look up all the things you want to look up and work on this outline. The outline has you do for the cover letter, what goes in the abstract, what goes in your introduction. And then the body of the report, I give you a little bit more details. You must have 4 areas of focus. Those can be the characteristics of the products, how it works, positive attributes, areas of improvement. I think if you're going to do positive attributes, you need to do areas of improvement. And feasibility. Everyone should have feasibility. And within feasibility, that's the cost, how many years the product is good for, whether or not there's a warranty, and reviews. That all goes in feasibility. So do not have feasibility and reviews. Those should all be one section. I do recommend that you have 4 to 7 things to cover in each subheading so you can give the reader a good sense about what the product is. And so I have that outline for you. And then what goes in the conclusion. So along with your outline, you will need to do a works cited page. And I'm going to show you how to do that today. That way you know how to do it. Because go ahead and turn in the works cited page ahead of time. That way you know you have the resources available to do the research to write the paper. And remember that you must have 3 to 5 sources for this paper. You are not a source. You cannot say, well, I've used this air compressor and I think it's great. No, you have to find actual other people that have written about it on the internet. All right. So to go to the next page of this document, I'm going to hit Control Enter. And I'm going to start my works cited page. So to do that, you're going to go up here to the top of the ribbon and you're going to hit References. And you're going to go to Manage Sources. And you are going to create new source information. So you may have to put all of this information in, okay? So hit New, And let's look up. So this is a website. So let's go ahead and go. I've already prepared some. Like I said, I'm going to do the KitchenAid stand mixers. The first thing I'm going to use as a source is the manual for the KitchenAid stand mixer. So I'm going to hit this KitchenAid stand mixer owner's manual thing here and go ahead and pull this up. Slow. I'm sorry. The internet's not the fastest here. Okay. So I'm going to scroll down and see if I can find information. This has got a lot of pages. It's got 332 pages. It's a ton. I've got all kinds of information here that, parts and features. I can use that. Talk about the safety of it and how it can be safe. Different things you can do to use it. How to clean it. How to troubleshoot. Talk about the warranty. That's important because warranty is something that it goes in that feasibility piece. I have things here you can even, screenshot and use this as part of your graphics. But the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll to the very back and I'm going to see who wrote this manual. So I don't have an actual author, but the company is KitchenAid. So if I go back to the paper, let me pull that back up. My author is KitchenAid. The name of the webpage is KitchenAid Stand Mixer Owner's Manual. Okay, so I need to look for a year, month, and day, or at least some kind of information that shows that. So I don't have a month or a day, but I have the year as 2016. So I'm going to put the year as 2016. I accessed it in 2024 in June on the 6th. And the medium is the web address. So I need to go back here and I need to copy and paste the web address from up top. And then I'm going to hit OK. And that is the first entry of my Works Cited. Now, if you notice, my in-text citation is going to be KitchenAid, and then I'd use whatever page numbers from that document. But I have to have 3 sources. So let's go back, and I pulled up another source. I'm going to do some reviews. So I'm going to go to the New York Times. Now, I have 3 different things I can choose here. Serious Eats, Everything Kitchen, and the New York Times. I'm going to pick the New York Times. And the reason why is because it is a credible news source. Where these other 2, I don't know who they are. So I'm going to click on this one right here from the New York Times. This was updated in 2023. I'm going to scroll. This has an author and everything. So I'm going to go back to my Works Cited, and the author is Margaret Preston. I'm going to copy and paste her name in because I can't, I can't spell very well sometimes. So I'm going to hit new again. My author is Marguerite Preston. The name of I'm going to see. There it goes. The name of the web page is, I hit show all bibliography fields because I need a little bit more stuff because I have more things. So the name of the web page is, and that's going to be the article name, is we've been testing stand mixers since 2023 and KitchenAid's still the best. I'm going to copy and paste that in here. The name of the website is the New York Times. The year this was written was 2023. And I remember them saying it was November 9th. The year accessed was this year. And it was accessed in June 6th. The URL is the web address. So I'm going to come up here. And medium, instead of the URL, I'm just going to put the medium there. I'm just going to put it in medium because it does have the recommended field. So I'm just going to put it here. And then I'm going to hit OK. And now we have 2 sources. Okay, we have 2 sources. So let's go back and let's look at another one. We're going to look at, so I'm going to go ahead and X these out because I don't need them anymore. The next thing I'm going to do is a KitchenAid. I want to do like a pros and cons. So I'm just going to kind of look. I might look at something else. Let's look at the purchasing. Let's do that one. So if I'm going to look at purchasing one, I'm going to the source. We're going to KitchenAid. Okay, a lot of stuff. There we go. KitchenAid. So now I have information on how much they cost. So I'm going to go back here. I'm going to hit new web address, KitchenAid. The name of the web page is Stand Mixers. I don't have a year. I do have the date that I accessed it, which is today. And my medium is this. Okay, so once I have my sources, I have my source for I have all the sources I'm going to use. Do I recommend more than 3 sources? Yes. But once I have that, I'm going to hit close. And I am going to go to, and I'm going to hit bibliography here, and I'm going to go to works cited like this. And I'm going to click that button. It has created it for me. It is in alphabetical order, which is important. Now, I do not like that that looks like that. I'm going to fix it. Like that. Oops. Don't know why it's highlighted either. There it goes. So if you notice, there's just a couple things you need to fix. You need to highlight it all like this. Go to home. It needs to be in Times New Roman font. It needs to be 12. And it does need to be double spaced. So I'm going to go to paragraph, spacing, double. But that is the works cited page. Like I said, it still does a funky highlight, but that's okay. That's your works cited page, and it's done. You will need to turn this in again when you turn in your actual overall paper, but all you do is copy and paste it, and it's ready to go. So that's what I'm going to be looking for when I grade your outline, which will be up here. So you'll do your outline, and then under the outline, you'll have your works cited page. And once you've done that, you will be good to go. So once you finish this video, you're going to do the secret word, and you are going to complete your ethics and plagiarism quick write, and then go ahead and start doing that research. Figure out what tool you want to research, figure out what sources you want to use, and get started on that outline. On the middle of the week assignment, that is when your technical report, outline, and works cited page is due. And then by the end of the week, you'll turn in your tool equipment evaluation report. If you have questions, always make sure to let me know, and I'll see you guys on the flip side. Bye.